In this lesson, we will learn how to combine the cropped elements into our main composition. I already took the time to drag in some elements, and now we'll see how to find a good placement for them based on our previous composition setups. So I replaced the background gradient to a nice blue one, as you can see here. So let me drag it. So from a light blue on top to a more intense blue on the bottom. So here are the elements, the background arches, some crane structures for the left side, another crane close to the top, more cranes to the left for variation, some scaffold structures, our statue of course, some scaffolds for details, another crane base, and yes, one more crane and the foreground pillar. So these are our starting elements, and we have to drag them around in order to match our previous composition. But first, let's group them and name this group layer elements. Now let's take a quick look on our previous value composition. It is a close match, but we don't have to stick 100% with that. If we'll find something more interesting, we'll go ahead and make the change. But first we'll have to make some color adjustments because it's hard to work with these elements being so colored and being so different in terms of color scheme. Let's start with the statue. Go to Image, Adjustment, Hue, Saturation and tone it down. Just decrease the saturation and maybe increase a little the lighting. So we do the same with the crane here. Control U activates the saturation panel. And bring down the saturation just about there, and then the highlights level. Yes, I think that will be okay. We'll take care of that color too, but first we'll kill the highlights on the top crane by selecting the replace color. Go to Image, Adjustment, Replace Color, and we'll pick the red color and decrease the saturation and lightness until we have a nice brownish color. We did that because the lighting was off and we don't want to pop it out being a background element. So back to the yellow platform, we'll adjust the brightness and contrast here. Adjustment, brightness, contrast. Okay, here we go. I think not the brightness, only the contrast. Okay, now let's change the saturation around -50 will be okay. Now to the crane here on the right side, again, change the saturation but also adjust the levels. Control L just to kill those hard shadows and deep blacks. Okay. Now to the crane here on the right side, again, change the saturation but also adjust the levels. And for the scaffolds here, we'll just adjust the brightness and contrast. Check Use Legacy and change both brightness and contrast. And repeat the process for this one here in the background. Check Use Legacy, brightness, okay. And for the third one, here it is. again. Good enough. Now everything looks a bit better, blending with each other, but let's take a look here at this flat, sharp edge and try to make it more realistic. First, pick the eraser tool, choose a round hard edge brush, set the opacity to 100% and start erase the margins like it would be eroded. Good. Now I have to adjust the perspective a bit. Select the polygonal lasso tool and make a selection. Then cut and paste it into place. And select the warp transform tool and push the top to the left to make it thinner. Just about there. Okay. Now make a new layer, drag it under the arches layer. Okay. Choose a brown color and pick a round hard edge brush and set the opacity to 100% and draw a nice shape to give it more volume. Just around there, and I think it's okay. Great. Now select the transparency and change the brush color to a darker value and pick a soft edge brush, set the transparency to 40% and start painting on the left edge to create some shadows. Better. Now deselect it and pick the eraser tool and set it to a small size and erode that outer edge. Just go in and erase those edges here and there. Okay, good. Now it's better. Now let's adjust the position of those layers. Just drag them around to create the rhythm and flow that we need. Maybe flip this horizontally. Or leave it like that. This one definitely needs a flip. Drag this up, and this one flip horizontal. Rotate it a bit and try to position it there. Let's make a nice adjustment. It's too bright. And reposition these cranes at the bottom. Maybe the size too. Just like this. Okay, we are done for now.